Well, Amherst area.
Bring you Jose Pio and Lavelle Lewis in your weekly dose.
Yeah, I think Lancaster's east of Buffalo.
Your hour of common sense with the politically correcting podcast and show.
You guys are on?
All right, welcome back to another week of common sense. That's really what it comes down to, is just speaking common sense into the entire world, all the earlobes of the entire world on social medias, as well as the radio stations out there who allow us to be on air, which I'm very extremely thankful for that, to be honest, because I don't want to say we get into some trouble, but a lot of people don't like the truth to be out there.
No.
And that's what really concerns me. That's what
You know the saying, the truth shall set you free. A lot of people don't want to be free.
They don't want to be free.
They don't want to be free. They like to be secure.
Well, it's easier to kind of live in the bubble of, I believe this, and therefore I don't want to look into it that much, because then it's going to open my mind to something that maybe I don't want to be open to. But hey, who am I to say? I think that everyone has their right to live the life they want to, or how they want to. And speaking of such, we got a guest today. We got Franklin Barker here, a friend of Lavelle Lewis's, who has some experience in the real world out there, not just living in the city of Rochester and never getting outside the bubble of seeing what other countries look like, how the intricacies of our military looks like, investing in real estate. I appreciate you coming on, and I've got some questions to kind of pick your brain, because a lot of times I can't speak about my military career because I'm from military intel, so I can only give like the broad generic stroke of what I was doing down in South America. But maybe there's some things that you'd be able to talk to us about. But
I spent a little time in South America too.
Yeah,
we can talk offline about that.
I saw a little bit about Panama on there, right?
Yeah.
Give the people a little bit of a little backstory about you.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite coming out. So I spent 21 years in the Army, between the active Guard and Reserve. Also during that time, did about 20 years investing in real estate. Got my bachelor's and master's in teaching. Thought I wanted to do that. So kind of been around doing a lot of different things.
Okay.
Yeah, so they try to steal your water.
yeah, it was quick with it.
Yeah, he's trying to save you from
Dang, I didn't get nothing.
backwash.
I didn't get up.
Well, you came here Puerto Rican time, bro.
I did. I was totally. What I do is I arrive on time. Unlike
really?
some people.
Who
really? Cause us to be late.
Really?
And starting.
Really?
Not talking about Franklin here.
No, I was here plenty early.
Yeah, he was there. Right. We
fantastic.
both were here, kind of getting into a lot of things, and one of the things you missed was getting into Frank's background. We were talking about the Airbnb business and the just the way the city has kind of destroyed that market and just the rental market. And we were just talking about victimization and all that stuff, and they think that people that looks like me, we don't have the ability to be successful in it. And
remember when that city council woman?
Yeah, I was telling him that story, and actually I didn't notice about Frank. I let him tell it, just his upbringing and how he became successful. It wasn't just military, but I let him speak to that, because it was very interesting.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit outside before we came in here, just about people start at different points in life. I was I grew up in a foster home. Fortunately, I was adopted, but my parents, they both had GEDs. That was it. So
your foster parents?
Yeah. So my dad was a Vietnam veteran, and all I heard was war stories growing up. So right out of high school, joined the Army, but they didn't know anything about college or real estate or anything. I had to figure things out on my own. This is before the internet really took off, and before YouTube, where you could learn anything on YouTube. So yeah, we might start at different places in life, but the rules are the same for everyone.
Right.
And I love seeing people be successful. I've mentored, a bunch of different people. Ones that'll actually listen and go and do have done very well. But yeah, we might start in different places, but the rules are the same.
Right.
You're not a victim. You just need to be disciplined and go get it.
Right. You got active as soon as you came home, though, from the military, right?
Yeah.
You went to work as soon as you got in, right?
Yeah, like the whole time. Even when I was at the Guard and Reserve, bouncing around the world, doing different stuff, I was always looking for the next deal.
Well, Franklin, again, you're privileged, okay? You understand
so privileged.
that you're privileged.
You know how many times I've heard, oh, must be nice, must be nice. I'm like, yeah, you probably didn't see me crawling around through the attic running pipe or in the basement or, doing some of the dirty jobs.
Of course not.
No, you just see me, having a good time on my boat, and not going to work some days.
I saw a movie last night called Rob Peace on Netflix. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. Rob Peace.
Rob Peace?
Yeah, it's a young black man whose father was put in jail for murder. And he spent like his whole life trying to figure out how to get his dad out of jail because he believed his dad was not guilty. And he went to college, everything like that. Like he went to Yale. And he ended up coming back to his community and saying, I'm going to rebuild my community one house at a time. Got some friends together, invested in some real estate together, was doing freaking awesome. And then boom, 2007, 2008.
Oh,
And it's what amazes me, and I love seeing these stories of how one tiny decision, one small decision can really impact the rest of your life. It'll derail you, or it puts an obstacle in front of you that you have to learn to overcome. And it's so crazy to me that there's people out there who think that because of your skin color, let's say, that I'm guessing you're white.
Very much so.
Okay. That you have privilege that all of us around here do not have. And that's just absurd to me that people don't even understand that every single person has a decision to make every single day that they wake up.
Amen.
And that is the blessing that we have from, I'm a believer in God. I saw that you're a Christian on your resume there. That whenever God gives you more breath that next day, it's obviously he has a plan for you. And it's your job to go out there and find what that plan is and to potentially bring about the most value to others. So when you said you were mentoring other folks, how are you doing that? Like how can someone become a mentee of yours?
So obviously people have seen my success, and literally on the way here, someone that I went to high school with 20-something years ago messaged me that I haven't even talked to him since then, but he heard through the grapevine that I did well and he wanted to get into real estate, so he messaged me and I said, yeah, I'll talk to you later. So it just comes by happenstance. And I love to see people succeed, so I'm always willing to help people out. Now, like I said, I think I said before, some listen, some don't. The ones that listen to me and go do it,
I would say most probably don't.
Most probably don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably don't.
100%.
Yeah.
Most don't. Most will be like, oh my God, that's great, and then they don't. I met a guy the other night, and he's like, oh my God, this is divine intervention. Like, I met you. I'm like, yeah. Now tomorrow night is the FRIA meeting. You know what the FRIA meeting is? I'm like, it's tomorrow night. How lucky is this? Tomorrow night, go there. Do you think you went?
No,
he didn't go.
No. A lot of people want you to do. They want to do it, for them. They want you to do it for them. One of my people I always talk about, really good friend, great friend. You know him a lot. A lot of folks know him, Joe LaBarbera.
Oh yeah.
He was motivating me through your story, right? And that's how I
met
heard of
him
you
via the internet when I was in Iraq.
Right, and that's what he used you.
That's
he
awesome.
uses you to inspire
If there's
people.
a will, there's a way.
Yeah, and that's what he was like. Well, listen, let me tell you, this guy I know, his name is Franklin Barker. All right, and he's killing it from Iraq. You have no idea. So, and knowing him, he's again, he knows so many people. His value and speak to him as a person is the fact that he's not afraid to tell you what he knows, and be a mentor and help you. And that's why for me, going back to that meeting that Jose had, where a city council member literally said to me in my face, the only reason why I'm into real estate is because I inherited something, right?
After she told you that you couldn't do it.
That I couldn't do it,
That most
exactly.
black people can't because of inherent racism, because of bias, and this and the other. You said, well, I'm doing this. And she said, well, you're privileged.
Yeah, you're privileged. And I said, she goes, oh, well, why don't they just pull themselves up by the bootstrap, huh? I was like, exactly. You goddamn right. They should pull themselves up by the bootstraps. It's what everybody are supposed to do when you're facing
Do you know
adversity.
Barrington Nelson?
Yes.
Yeah, so he called me up. Gosh, this is back in probably maybe 2010, 2011. He didn't know anything about anything. He just wanted to get started. So he's calling up fishing for leads. And I could tell what he was doing, and I said, I'm going to help this kid out. I said, meet me for coffee. So I met him at Tim Hortons for coffee. He had a son there. And I gave him some tips and pointers, helped him out a little bit. But he's one of the success stories.
Mm-hmm.
He had the will, the discipline to go do it. Take what I said, and he went and did it.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward a couple of years, I walk into the FRIA meeting and he's teaching the class.
Mm-hmm.
I was so proud of him. And he's had a lot of success because he actually went and did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward, a few years later, I get a text from him. He's like, "Hey, I wrote a book. I want you to check it out, read it." I'm like, "Absolutely."
Learn how to
so
sell real
proud of
estate,
you, bro.
Yeah.
But he's one of the success stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, that's one of the reasons why I get so frustrated with what's been going on in our city, what's been going on in our state, what's going on in our country. Because even just within this past election, Kamala was talking about putting rent caps on properties and also
fix racism.
Yeah, in order to
you
fix
don't wanna stand
racism, in the name of racism,
Yeah.
let's
You don't want to stand in the way of that.
stop evictions, all of that stuff is on the table. And it is nothing but Marxist ideology, and is what we talk about all the time on the show. We are at war with people who want to take away our ability and our rights to be successful, period.
I think there's a couple different ideologies fighting each other. There's one.
Before you get into that, because we do have to go into a break in a second here, so I didn't want you to jump into something that we're going to have to cut you off for. Certainly remember that point where you're about to get into. We can jump back into that after this break. Everyone that's out there, please, if you have any questions specifically about anything real estate or military, anything that happened across overseas, our guy here, Franklin Barker, was involved down in Panama and Iraq, right? And we're going to get more into a lot of those things, but 585-346-3000 is the number to call with any questions. Let's have a conversation about some things. We're going to jump back into this conversation right after this break with the politically correcting boys, Lavelle Lewis, myself, the Jose Pio, with our guest Franklin Barker back at right after this.
To the top, I have sworn by my blood as your man, my love, that one day I promise one day your heart would stop. But I've never changed.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WISL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WISL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
Youth for Christ Rochester is focused on keeping kids safe and healthy. We provide a Christ-like culture in our skills and drills, Friday night or Saturday morning basketball. And we're so excited to start all 3 versions of our new God's Girls middle school programs. Consider connecting your business or ministry to one of these vital programs for city youth through a sponsorship. Reach me at mhennessy@yfcrochester.org or support us online with a one-time or monthly gift. Go to yfcrochester.org/donate.
Hi, I'm Kathy, Tom Walls team member, and I want to serve you the best fish fry. Caught in the cold North Atlantic, our haddock dinners are crispy and golden. Paired with fresh coleslaw and hot crispy fries will leave your taste buds craving more. Come to Tom Walls and enjoy a taste of the Atlantic with our haddock fish dinner.
Hey, this is Striker that calls into WYSL's PCP Boys. I'd love to have you come listen to my podcast, Just an Old Guy with a Mic. If you like the content of WYSL, I think you
Last spot.
podcast, Just an Old Guy with a Mic on Podbean, Spotify, and Amazon podcast apps.
Politically correcting.
You're on.
Oh, yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. A little bit of MJ to get us back into it.
I was watching a video about this song, how it was made, how the producers came up with it, and the drummer, the guy in the drums, came up with that on the fly, right? Quincy Jones, rest in peace, Quincy Jones. He like, hey, listen, can you give me something to start this off with? And he's a former military drummer, whatever. He just came up with that, and that is a very signature part of this song right there. The drum parts that opens it up. Little bit of trivia, Mike trivia.
Tidbit of information.
A little bit of my background, but it's just from scrolling on Facebook for no reason.
You're getting all the
3 o'clock in the
facts.
morning.
All the facts of the politically correcting show. Oh, dang, about to start it up again. Oh, that'd be great. Go back into the conversation, Franklin. Our guest, Franklin Barker, here. What you were about to get into before I so rudely interrupted you.
Yeah, we were talking about the competing ideologies. And I think the one one ideology is I want to empower you and see you build yourself up and become successful.
Yes.
The other ideology is you are a victim. Let me take care of things for you because you can't handle things yourself. And that steals your strength, steals your power. And I think that's really what we're dealing with in this country right now, too.
It's on a spiritual level, right? To get the satisfaction of accomplishment, what it does to just the human mind and the psyche, like your soul itself. Just think like with farmers back in the day, right? You're cultivating the land, you're giving back to nature, and you see what it rewards you with. It rewards you with food, it rewards you with medicine, it rewards you with the things that God put here on this planet for us to do. To be able to provide housing for people, effective, affordable housing for people based off of that service that you are providing. And mind you, people, understand this. If you are renting from someone, if you are paying someone to take care of a property that you are resting in for however long it is, whether it be 1 day or 10 years, they are in charge of all the things in the background, the expenses, the taxes, the water, all of the things that you don't see.
Landscaping, plowing,
right.
Certificate of occupancy, registration renewals.
Yes. All of these things come at a price and a cost to the owner. So it's either you going to pay for it or someone else. In exchange for that service that they are paying for, which is you don't have to take care of that.
And the risk they're taking on.
Absolutely. That's not the risk. I mean,
that's another part there.
That's a whole other.
Right. Mary Lupien doesn't understand that. City council.
Name dropping, you didn't have to do all that.
Oh no, I always going to have to name drop her because again, she disrespected me as a person.
Yeah, and I felt it as well, seeing that it was my meeting that she decided to show up to have her voice heard, to kind of attack one of my friends here, and I was like, oh. Okay, and that was before we actually had our. Did we have our show at that point?
No.
Yeah,
the show was no. The show wasn't on yet, but it was on its way.
It was on its way.
It was on its way because I couldn't wait to talk about it.
But and something you had brought up when you were talking about Joe Lombardo.
Joe LaBarbera. Do not mess up LaBarbera.
I just know Joe.
Joe Bides. Yes.
So you were talking about how you were at REC when you're buying houses, when you're investing in real estate?
I was communicating via the internet, and whether I'm talking to, my property manager or someone selling houses, he was doing wholesaling stuff back then. Somehow, I don't know, I linked up with him via the internet, and he's like, why can't this guy come meet me? And I'm like, sorry, bro, I can't meet you for a while.
Because he's fake. He's a fake person.
Handle the business.
But the thing that most people don't really understand, we kind of touched on it a little bit, and you kind of touched on it as well, Lavelle. There's two ways to go about doing real estate. There is the DIY where you have, you're doing it yourself, where you have higher risk, higher return. Then you got to do it for you, meaning you're paying somebody to do it for you, which is much lower risk and much lower return. So when you were in another country, were you paying someone to find the houses, manage it for you, all the above?
Yeah, so I had property managers at the time, and if you got good property managers, there's a risk in that too. You could hire a good one, you could hire a bad one, mediocre. All in all, they did okay for me at the time, but I like to be hands-on kind of guy, so I'm not a huge fan of property managers. So yeah, in leveraging your time with other people's time, and you got maintenance guys out there doing stuff for you, property managers, and so yeah, I had other people working it for me this time.
So going with that mentality, you said some people would reach out to you to kind of learn a little bit more. Have you thought about actually creating a system where you would actually do it for them and they would just kind of invest in you?
I have been told so many times that I need to have like a mentoring coaching program, charge people, and I just haven't done it yet.
Well, there's also the real estate investment trusts out there where people just kind of pool their money in together and say, we're going to buy up all these properties, and basically you take a cut off of that. That's where
that's one of the things I did when I was in Iraq. Is there was a guy that one of my original mentors, he was kind of doing that, gathering up money and going to flipping houses, and I just sent him money, and he would handle all the details.
See, I love that.
Yeah, well, again, unfortunately, you're so privileged to acquire that knowledge over in Iraq, which is very interesting. Like, that is a very unique story of just, someone being able to maintain and manage any type of portfolio during that time in Iraq when it was crazy. I can only imagine what you just the experience leading up to Iraq and leaving. There's a lot of conspiracies that have been talked about throughout the years. One of the things that we kind of spoke about before you got on the show was being that good soldier and just going along with what our government has done, just within hearing Jose's stories and just how he feels about the importance of our military and also our country. Can you provide just some insight as far as how you evolved throughout your tenure in the Army to where you have a different outlook on our government and how our military is used?
Absolutely. So when you're young, you're listening to your elders and you believe in your government's doing the best for you. And I was a young, naive, hardcore soldier. I'm doing the best that I can as a soldier, and we got attacked, and I'm like, yeah, let's go to war. Mm-hmm. Well, you fast forward, next 5, 10, 15 years, and you really start to think and do some critical thinking. I remember being in Iraq going, why are we here? Like, why the hell are we here? Like, wasn't it Osama bin Laden that was part of that taking down the towers? Why are we in Iraq? And then to see soldiers literally commit suicide or dying, we got to go pick them up, take them to the morgue. And then I did honor guard too, so I'm handing out flags and watching family members cry and fall to the ground in front of me, and I'm trying to console them at the worst moment of their life, and I'm going, why? Why?
So you were in Iraq seeing it for yourself? Like, at that time, you were saying, why are we here? Or was this after when you got out?
When I was there, I'm like, why are we here? I was talking with a guy the other night. He was at Fort Hood and supposed to be going to Afghanistan. Then they're like, oh, no, now you're going to go to Iraq. Same thing. He's like, well, why? So I'm very critical of politicians for that reason. Because we have a lot of good Americans out there that want to serve their country, but they're taking their orders from someone who has an ulterior motive.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a huge problem.
Like, look at what's going on in Ukraine right now.
Yeah, they're throwing bombs over there right now at this moment. Who signed off on that?
Joe Biden from Amazon forest.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
So a few years ago, 2018, Oliver Stone did a documentary on Ukraine. I think it was called Revealing Ukraine. You got to watch it. So he does this whole documentary on Ukraine and Burisma, and Hunter Biden he's a board member on Burisma, which is basically an oil company over there. And it's basically just to tie him into our government. And Oliver Stone even goes and interviews Putin. And I was like, wow, Putin's actually a pretty well-spoken, level-headed dude. But the media is gonna. That's a whole other story. The media.
Right. I was gonna say. I wonder if they went after him as well.
Yeah, exactly.
How dare you interview?
How dare you interview him?
Yeah, because he's such a bad guy. Well, how do we know? How do we know? It's just what the media tells us. So anyways, at the end of this documentary, Oliver Stone goes, "There's going to be a war." And that was 2018. I think it was put out in 2018, 2019. What was it? 4 years later?
Yeah.
Boom, there's a war.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear the soldiers, version of the ground, right? You're witnessing people dying in front of you. The whole story's coming home with post-traumatic stress disorders and how even that wasn't enough for our government to recognize that we have a problem with your decisions, right? For what George Bush did as the president at that time for us was very, very. It was sad to see. It was sad to see as an American.
You got to ask yourself, who's making the most money in this
Follow the money. That's what you gotta do. Follow the money. Follow the money. Speaking of following money, we gotta pay some bills around here, so we got some commercials to do. Here at the WYSL station, the voice of the Liberty, 585-346-3000 is the number to call in. So you can ask some questions here of our guest, Franklin Barker. We'll be right back after this break. It'll be a few minutes, but we'll see you in a few minutes. We'll be behind the scenes.
Okay, you're live.
Oh man, Bob is always following the conversation, looking for the best bump music, man. Shout out to Bobby D. But yeah, I could only imagine just that time when you are seeing the cat. Like that was one of the things that I think a lot of Americans at the time, that's what they grew tired of seeing with the Iraq War. You're seeing a lot of these caskets covered in American flags coming by the droves. It was getting so bad that the government propaganda stopped showing that. And I think that was also a slap in the face of the soldiers, to where now you're not showing us the people who sacrificed their lives. They're just numbers now. We never see them. We don't even get this. We didn't even get to see the tributes to those soldiers as they passed away. So I can only imagine how your mind went.
Control
with that.
the media, control the message.
Yeah.
That's why they want to control the media.
Yeah.
And the propaganda.
Allegedly.
Right, because we're on Facebook, right? You might get banned for that stuff.
For real. Anyone out there who's listening, and make sure you give us a little like, a little follow, hopefully. That way we can work the algorithms on these social medias to kind of push this out a little bit more. It's funny that we have, thousands of people on our Facebook page, but yet, you get like 2 likes on any given
hit
post.
that like button, yo. Hit that like button, share, subscribe with everybody. We doing good things on this show.
Absolutely. I just saw Franklin went to our page to go share the video, and as soon as he clicked on it, it came up automatically with like this page may be sharing disinformation or something like that.
Wow, we got
false
that.
information.
It's called censorship.
That's good. We're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Well, us talking about 9/11, because that's what was the springboard to the Iraq conflict. Us talking about buildings falling with free fall speed and what they promoted to get that support from soldiers. It's something like to get you ready to go to war. Like you have to do something very bad that's going to send somebody into a very dangerous, hostile situation without thought.
Well, what about the Pentagon that somehow had 0 plane evidence?
Where's that plane at?
We're still trying to find that.
Don't worry, we had the passports.
You're right. We had those passports. We're still looking for the money too.
Actually, I continue to talk about this because it's like, being from military intel, it's like, come on, like you're gonna tell me we can find the passports of the people? We couldn't find a single plane in the entire freaking Pentagon, and somehow, some way, they just lost, quite a bit of money.
2.8 trillion. And then they're still losing money. I think it was 800 something.
And something similar happened to the Oklahoma City bomber.
Really?
There was money that went missing at that time as well. And I saw a video recently that I would love to have more information on this. I never looked into that very much at all, because it was like at a time where we were it was in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, 90s. Early Clinton's
90s.
Administration.
Yeah, they were immediately saying we're gonna freaking throw a book at this guy. And then when some evidence came out after he was already proven to be, or after they already said he was guilty, some evidence came out and they're like, oh, okay, because they're supposed to kill him. And they stopped the killing for like a day, and then the next day they killed him.
He had the death penalty. Yeah, because they didn't want him to
no
talk.
autopsy.
And he was a former military guy too. So was the Unabomber. The Unabomber was was it the Olympic bombing? Was the Unabomber? One of the two bombers were former military guys, and he had a lot of skills of living out in the wilds, in the woods. Yeah. That's why it was hard for him to find him, because he's literally a soldier that's bombing abortion clinics. Right?
Franklin, are you into this kind of conversations? Are you into conspiracy theories?
100%.
Infowars.com.
Absolutely. And that's why I question the government. And I question everything, because there's things called false flag events that
Seems happening a lot.
Really make you question things.
Yeah, no.
Things aren't adding up.
This is 21 years of military experience too talking. So this isn't people that don't come from that type of space, you know.
All right, we're going to jump back into the show.
Find out more at tompkinsbank.com.
Geneseo Hardware and Rental is your hometown home center. Expanded inventory for all project needs. Voted best hardware store in Livingston County. Open daily, including Sundays. Geneseo Hardware and Rental, Route 28 next to Wegmans Plaza.
Are you holiday shopping for the horse lover in your life? Patchwork Saddlery has gift certificates and stocking stuffers. Put your money where your heart is. Shop locally at Patchwork Saddlery, East Main Street, Avon, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Hey, this is Striker that calls into WYSL's PCP Boys. I'd love to have you come listen to my podcast, Just an Old Guy with a Mic. If you like the content of WYSL,
Last spot.
podcast, Just an Old Guy with a Mic on Podbean, Spotify, and Amazon podcast apps.
Politically correcting.
You're on.
Just out here being sort of gay. Thank you so much for this bump right here with Whitney Houston. Shout out to Whitney, aka Nippy. I saw her documentary last night. It was really good. Back with the Politically Correcting Boys Love Out with myself, the Jose Pio, and our illustrious guest, Franklin Barker. Thank you so much for joining us. I had some questions about your Operation New Horizons in Panama, because that was more of like a humanitarian in outreach down there. Talk to us about that and what the actual, if you can, about what the actual job entailed while you were down there.
So I was a pilot with the medevac company up here at the Rochester Airport, and we went down there and supported Operation New Horizons 2007. And there was a lot of different...
Did you say you're a pilot?
Yeah.
Throw that in there randomly.
So I was down there as a liaison officer, and basically I was liaison between the task force and the medevac unit, kind of a staff position. So there was a lot of different jobs going on down there. They were like building schools, doing like medical clinics, giving shots, digging wells, all kinds of different humanitarian stuff. And we were there to support the medical evacuation part of it, which it turns out down there actually became a big part of it, because boy, in those third world countries, people drive like crazy. You think they drive like crazy in Rochester? Oh my God. Rochester's nothing compared to these third world countries. People are getting run over every single day.
Wow.
Yeah, oh my God, it's bad.
I saw that. My what kind of sets it off is you got the Iraq background, where you were sitting there saying, why are we here? It doesn't seem like this is something we should be involved in. And then we have the humanitarian outreach as well. Did you feel that you should be, as a military soldier, doing humanitarian research? Was it a good thing? Did you feel good about it? Like, was it something that kind of made up for?
Well, I went to Panama before I went to Iraq, and these missions in South America, from what I understand, the U.S. military has been doing these for years. And I think it's more of a political propaganda, keep up good relations with other parts of the world.
Good branding for America.
Good branding for America. So it was a good experience. It had a tough day down there because I did lose some soldiers in an accident. So it was a very tough day. But
all in all, is it a positive for America to be doing that kind of stuff?
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
It's funny because your work in that's considered Central America. I was just out in actually Panama not that long ago. I encourage everybody to go to Panama.
It's so eye-opening. I mean, you see the PNPs, Panamanian National Police, that they might go months without getting paid, and even though they get paid, it's not much by the government. So they're turning a blind eye when the drug traffickers are coming through.
Oh yeah,
because drug traffickers come through, slip them a couple bucks or whatever. I didn't see nothing. Hey, I can feed my family, pay my bills. So you definitely see how things operate in other countries.
Yeah, I was down in Colombia, and so we had the FARC down there, and it's a narcotics trafficking.
Yeah, the
drug cartel.
Colombia, right by Panama.
Right.
Right at the coast.
Well, it makes sense then, guys. That's probably means why the government's probably got their hand in it also.
Did you see any other NGOs out there?
I got approached by the CIA to use our helicopter assets to go do some recon for him. And me being a young lieutenant at the time, I'm thinking, this is awesome. So I go back to my commander, and luckily he was smarter and wiser. And when I told him, what I had, he goes, absolutely not. I'm like, what?
Why is that?
He goes, why? He goes, we are here for medical evacuation. We are not getting involved with the drug cartel.
Mm-hmm.
I go, that's actually good.
Yeah, but you could have been. What was that movie with Tom Cruise when he was the pilot and he was flying freaking drugs back and forth?
No, that wasn't Tom Cruise. That was Johnny Depp. That's Boston George. Was Blow? That's Blow.
There was a Blow movie and there was a Tom Cruise movie.
Tom Cruise was in it too?
Not in that movie. There was a completely different movie. There's multiple movies about.
But him being a pilot?
A pilot, yeah.
Oh, okay. We're probably talking about something
Tom Cruise
different.
loves being a pilot, I guess.
But him doing drugs? Him dealing drugs? Tom Cruise? Really?
I mean,
He's
the
usually the
CIA?
hero.
Really? You really want to think that the CIA is involved with drug mule?
No way. There's no way.
I'm not even going to tell you some of the things I.
Listen, Frank, you are you
That's
are
a whole
here.
other I'm not even going to talk about it on the air.
Bro, you are here for a reason. You're on the Politically Correct show. We don't know a lot of the actual stories, but we talked about before how you look at the illegal gun problem in a lot of our inner cities, and you look at the drug problem in a lot of our inner cities. The three-lettered organizations are always close by. They may not know everything, but they know everything. They know who is who. They have their informants. They have people who are actually doing this, and it's been going on for so long. Just how you're saying with your time in Panama City, there's a reason why that their government is doing what they do, because the U.S. government is making sure they turn a blind eye, that they continue to let that money flow. Because if cocaine was ever literally banned from the United States and they kept it out, there would be a lot of crazy folks in D.C. right now.
And Hollywood.
Because allegedly, I hear Miss Kamala. Allegedly,
you have no evidence.
I have no evidence, but I saw some videos. It was on It was on Facebook, man. I saw the video.
It was on TikTok
a couple wipes on the nose. She likes a couple bumps here and
So you
there.
think that baggie was hers?
That's just what the conspiracy theorists are saying.
Okay. Now we're getting a little too deep into that.
I don't care about.
I don't believe that one.
If you want some booger sugar, go ahead. Do what you got to do.
Not these days. You can't do booger sugar these days. It's got fentanyl and everything.
Yeah. Good luck with that. But just to use our military to put them in these countries where they're just used as either a diversion or, like you're saying, Jose, a mule. We really need to start holding our congressmen and women accountable. We talk about the state level, which, and the local levels. That comes first, but also on a national level, these congressmen and women who are putting our soldiers in danger, they got to go. The war hawks in D.C., they got to go. All of them.
Oh, what does Franklin think?
Yeah, I'm super critical of anyone that's quick to go to war. Sometimes war is necessary, but, a long time ago, we used to have retired generals as our presidents. And someone who's been there. And I wouldn't even mind seeing, a constitutional amendment where you have to be a veteran to become commander-in-chief.
Like Tulsi Gabbard.
I tell you what, she is one of the most amazing politicians I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
She was I started following her, probably close to 5-10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a Democrat at the time.
Yeah.
She was a
high-level Democrat.
Yeah. She's a congressman out of Hawaii. Yep, she's currently lieutenant colonel in the Hawaii National Guard. And
a Russian asset.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
can you imagine you got these freaking chicken heads on the freaking The Voice, not The Voice, what's the hell? The View. That's how much I watch them. Sitting there saying that she's a Russian asset.
Yeah, they're crazy.
How insane.
Yeah.
Can you, I would have sued them by now and said, provide any evidence. Give me one thing. And there was one guy I was listening to recently that said that she just parrots what Putin has been saying for the past 10 years. And someone also said, well, if you parrot that we should never have been in Iraq, then you would also be kind of a, asset for Iraq, saying we should never have been there. What is that what you're saying about me, that I'm a, Iraq freaking asset because I say we shouldn't have been there? It's ridiculous what they've done to Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, it goes to show you how corrupt the media is. It's just that they will just run one smear campaign after another smear campaign. And if they do it long enough, the general public will believe it.
Well, that's what what's her name said, that she's all for the old lady that just said that she's going to actually run for re-election from California. Dang it, what's her name? Pelosi.
Oh,
She said
Pelosi.
it's a wrap-up smear campaign.
Yep,
you
yep.
state something that media writes about it, and then you use that article to kind of push it, and then it becomes truth in people's eyes. And it's just,
You know how unfair it is, though, for just the media and their ability to smear people on the right.
Peyton from Riga.
You just talked about how you liked Tulsi Gabbard back when she was a Democrat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't come at Republicans as if we are the party that's not bipartisan. That's not open to bipartisanship.
Okay, look at that. See, a Republican liking a Democrat.
Yeah,
that's what most people like about me.
Yeah, well, see, you're the opposite, right? Because we know you're pretty much a Republican at heart. But
I'm just Jose Pio. I'm just Jose Pio. We do have a caller, but I know we have to get to a break, so I'd hate to bring them on before we give them. Oh, I didn't hear that.
Peyton from Riga.
Peyton from Riga, you got something for us?
Yes, very briefly. What I don't like is the creep into our language. And what I'm talking about is what the Democrats do. Leave it to them to introduce czar, okay? This is not Russia. We do not need to be using foreign terms. We don't have czars here. For example, Tom Homan, okay, he's going to be the border boss. He's the B-man. Okay, let us keep everything truly American. I do resent this czar reference. Another quick comment. Perhaps I'm wrong, and I can easily admit I'm wrong. But my
Her name is Peyton.
Governor Borgum, okay, why did this man allow China to come in and purchase such a swath of land that surrounds our military base out there? I have lived in North Dakota, so it irks me a little bit on a personal note. But we really need to hold his feet to the fire. I'm sorry. I just absolutely don't understand why governors cannot take up the cause of keeping our enemy from purchasing our land.
Kate, and thank you so much for calling in.
Amen.
Amazing
Amen
insight.
to that.
She actually brings up, are we going to?
We're going right now. So after this break, we're going to jump into that with my comrade, Franklin Barker here.
So I actually, when I met you and we were...
Hold on, I got to go into break. 585-346-3000 is the number to call. We're going to take a quick little break here. We'll be right back with Politically Correcting. Show Lovello is myself, the Jose Pio, back after this.
I'm Greece Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Joe Robach. If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber. We are the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we are better together, and together we can move your business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today. You'll be glad you did.
Open Door Mission is deeply grateful. Because of your generous hearts, you've opened many doors. For those in need to find shelter with respect and dignity. For families who are revitalized with hope and strength. For restored, healthy relationships for those on the road to lifelong recovery. For people empowered with new skills and opportunities. With your continued help, more doors will open. Please go to opendoormission.com.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WISL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WISL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance.
Okay, last spot. Sorry, we thought we had this fixed, but maybe not. Stand by.
Politically correcting.
You're on.
What's your favorite genre of music, Franklin, before we get to country? Country?
He's a country singer
Oh,
too.
you love Shabuzi then.
Yeah, he's a country singer too. He be singing them.
I tried.
Speaking of country, we got Joe from Belfast. How you doing, Joe?
Okay. I just called Schumer's office Monday.
Did you get a
Got
response?
the guy on the second ring. He actually did answer the phone.
Wow. Wow. Wait, Chucky
Man.
Boy himself or his assistant?
No.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm calling him now.
Yeah, I called there for an issue earlier this week. and still haven't got a
I asked
response.
the guy who answered the phone, how stupid is that guy? He's been pushing bipartisanship with Trump and demanding that he take on bipartisanship. But Trump has Tulsi Gabbard working for him on his cabinet, and Robert Kennedy Jr. on his cabinet.
Democrats.
And Trump used to be a Democrat too. How much bipartisanship does that man need?
You're absolutely right, and so was
Guy's
Elon
a
Musk.
moron.
Yep.
Chuck Schumer is not a Democrat. Chuck Schumer is
communist.
One of those elitists out there who you can find them in either party, to be honest. But Chuck Schumer is one of the worst. I mean, we sit there and say, "Oh, we need to vote Chuck back in because he represents New York so great. He's got years of experience and this, that, and the other." What has that done for us, Joe? What kind of experience has Joe Schumer brought to us? What do you think? Chuck Schumer. Sorry, jeez.
Mike.
No. Is Joe offline? All right, we got the mic. The mic. How you doing, brother?
Hey, gentlemen. Hey, we were mentioning Ukraine and our politicians. Well, listen. Hey, if you see vertically challenged Joey decide he's going to take a vacation.
Are you talking about Morelli?
No, of course I'm talking about. You know I'm talking about Joey, okay? To the day I die, all right? So, but him and his immediate family decide they're going to go on vacation when things get hot. They're not going down to Florida. They're going to the hidey hole in Pennsylvania. Okay, the one that you can't see from Google framing Earth. Okay,
one of those underground bunkers, you think?
That makes sense.
The continuity of government, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a president that's gone. We got some, legislators that are gone missing a little bit.
Yeah, if you see the rat scurry away from the ship, you know the ship is sinking.
Remember they were talking about all of the Zuckerberg, who he bought a bunker, and Bill Gates, he bought a bunker. They're buying these bunkers left and right.
Weird. But Mike, thank you so much.
Weird.
Mike always coming. He's always coming with these, these dimes of.
Because Mike is a conspiracy theorist.
He is such a conspiracy theorist. One of our favorites.
That's right. Thank you, Mike, so much for giving us a call on that. Some things that were brought up by Kaiten as well, because I want to jump back into that, was the fact that China was purchasing land all across America, specifically around military bases. And while we were on break, Franklin, you had said that this could be potentially used for sleeper cells out there, not just the land that was purchased, but also, in my opinion, buildings that were taken over by foreign military-aged men, strong, bodied men, and that is a national security threat. What do you think might happen there?
Well, like I was telling Lavelle, when I met him, we were working together in the real estate office. And as an investor, I see a lot of things that happen in the city of Rochester and other cities. And one of the things that was going on, and it might still be going on, is some of the local guys, they would buy up 10, 20 houses, put them in a package deal, and then sell them to foreign investors from other countries. And I said to myself, gee, yeah, these guys are making some money, but, I'm looking at this through a military lens. I go, damn, this is a real national security threat. If another country, an adversary, owns, we'll just say, 1,000 houses in Rochester, which I guarantee they own way more than that.
Yeah.
Way more than that, because it's been going on for like 20 years. And in the meantime, they have a long-term plan of at some point they're going to attack. What better way than put all their sleeper cells in these houses for the next 5 years? And then they're not just doing it in Rochester. They're doing it in Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Utica, all these upstate cities where it makes sense on paper, to buy these houses because they're super cheap. So who's to say they don't put these sleeper cells in there for a while, and then one day someone says go.
Right, it's on and popping.
And there's no way our police force would ever be able to handle it.
No,
They'd be overwhelmed.
It was crazy. Just like I learned through wholesaling, and one of the biggest things as a wholesaler was, I have a I got an out of town buyer, right? You know what I mean? He's buying up everything. Yep. He's got about, he bought a package deal yesterday. Yep. I got an out of country investor from Dubai, from Israel, from all these other countries. And once you hear that, like your ears perked up. So at that time you're thinking like, okay, I'm making money. But then just like you put it, when you think about it, like, okay, who is my end buyer? Who am I selling these properties to?
And it's not just properties either. They're buying up businesses. And a lot of people don't realize
that's crazy.
You can actually gain citizenship by buying a business that's worth, I think the minimum is $250,000. So if you invest $250,000 into a business that you yourself are going to operate, you can literally fast track your green card status and become, much faster at becoming a U.S. citizen.
That's
or a dual citizen. And so there's a lot of businesses that are going under that people are sleeping on, 100% sleeping on, because these are income producing businesses. They're already there. A lot of people just want to start a new business. And to me, I always tell them, like, don't start a new business. Just freaking, it's I don't want to say it's easy, but it is as simple as buying real estate. You're going to talk to a seller. You're going to purchase something that is income producing. You're going to buy it for the, let's say, a multiple of the actual cash flows. So if you make $100,000 a year profit after the owner pays themselves and everything, I mean, you can easily buy that company for $300,000 and you got yourself a business, you got yourself a steady income, you got a manager in place and stuff like that. You can sit back and do whatever you want. But a lot of people are sleeping on the opportunities that are available in Rochester.
Well, not even just Rochester, the country. This is what makes America great. Capitalism is the counter to socialism, communism, right? Our republic allows us that opportunity
and government overreach,
right? And government overreach. And just think of how easy it would be, because in order for a communist regime to kind of come in, the folks with the money, the oligarchs at the top, have to allow it, because they're the ones that's controlling the mouthpiece of communism. If they're buying up all these properties and all this land, if the government comes in and say, okay, we're going to take away the rest, it's like economic
2 minutes.
You will own nothing and be happy. Well, the oligarchs are never going to give up their money. They're gonna in turn transition to be the state and be the ones that's taking care of or controlling or managing all of their own assets anyway. So they'll continue to collect from us. They'll continue to raise prices, whatever, leave us out in the cold as citizens, and they have all of the assets. BlackRock itself, they were in the real estate business, and we starting to talk about that. How many assets do they own right now?
Too many. But what can you do about it? We are, again, you're sitting here talking about capitalism and being a free market system. Then are you talking about stopping that for big corporations?
Well, right now it's Republicans versus communists. It's no longer Republicans versus Democrats. It is no longer conservatives versus liberals. It's conservatives versus Marxists. That's where we are.
Well, we're going to get out of here with Franklin Barker.
Conservatives against the media.
There we go.
Or it's the haves versus the have-nots.
Proletariats versus...
I think so. I don't know. Franklin Barker, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We're going to get out of here with your favorite country music here. Shaboozey, baby. That's what we're talking about. We'll see you guys back here on, what's today's date? Today's Wednesday, right? We'll see you back on Monday. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, you're clear.
Good Lord. Someone call me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jack Daniels got a history. There's a party downtown near 5th Street. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. I've been boozy since I left. I ain't changing fortune. Tell my mind I ain't forget.